Yes, the Mirror Football Podcast is back with a lineup that even PSG can't afford.
That's not true.
Coming at you this week are the words Manchester and United already being engraved on the Premier League trophy. Should Liverpool take Tony Pulis on secondment? And if not, maybe Arsenal should. And we commiserate with that poor, sensitive soul who is being held against his will by an evil football club. You know, that geezer from Licence to Kill, Sanchez. The bad guy from the Goonies, Jake.
Just Google it, Google it.
Plus we've got special guests, including a guy from #United.
Plus in the video section, you'll see a Newcastle fan trying to get into a shirt from 1995, and I'll bring you some big news from Africa.
And we'll show you why the multi-ball system must be confined to a thing of the past. Hello and welcome to the Mirror Football Podcast. We want you to get involved on Twitter @StayOnYourFeet or on Instagram @StayOnYourFeetTV. My name's Sam Matterface and this is producer Tom. How are you?
I'm good, you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Before we start, I've got
a massive Matterface mind bender for you.
What's that?
Your club Liverpool had real problems again this weekend defending set pieces, and this week they take on Hoffenheim from the Bundesliga, and no one scored more goals from set pieces than them last season in that division.
Is that a true story?
That's a true story.
Okay, that's good.
So you guys are going to have to deal with that, and I thought, why not talk about the Premier League's rich history of free kick takers. For example, why not tell me the 7 players who have scored the most Premier League free kicks? Do you reckon you can do it?
Oh, give it a go.
Well, have a think about it. And if you're at home or you're sitting on the toilet or you're in the gym or in the car, why don't you play along as well? And then you can get in touch with us a little bit later on and tell us all about it as we tackle the issues of the day with the same sort of rigour and discipline as that Liverpool back line.
All right, leave it. Beckham. I'm going to go Beckham first of all.
Yeah, he's the top one. You've got another 6 to get. Go, see if you can do it. Anyway, take the show. You know, take the time. Don't rush it.
Right, so where were you this weekend?
I went to Brighton.
Okay, good.
Liked it. It was really good. Set up there is fantastic. Not the formation on the pitch, 5-5-0, but behind the scenes, it was very, very good. They're very accommodating. They've got like a Champions League mix zone underneath the
aspirational
main stand. Well, listen, it's the Premier League and the way it should be set up. I thought it was excellent. I've got to be honest with you. What about you? What did you watch?
I obviously watched the Liverpool game, which was like being in Groundhog Day again.
The text messages you sent me.
Yeah, well, the one positive, I'm going to try and stay positive, is that we still look dangerous on the offence with Salah. No Coutinho, obviously, that's another reason to not be cheerful, but actually going forward we look good. Set piece, it's just horrific. It's just a horror show.
I don't know whether or not you've been inspired by the American nature of this great podcast, but offence?
Yeah.
Seriously? Let's look at the website. As always, the Mirror Football website is right at the very front of all the big exclusives. Yesterday, the Manchester United players had lunch to celebrate Ander Herrera's birthday, but they ended up with parking tickets as a result of that. Chelsea are about to splash 120 million quid on 3 Premier League players. More on that with Darren Lewis very shortly. Manchester City are about to make a bid of more than £50 million for Alexis Sanchez. The transfer plug is up and running, of course, as always. Liverpool fighting to get an Emre Can deal done to keep him at the club. But Klopp is saying, we don't want money, we want success. He is emphatic about keeping Coutinho at Liverpool. Stan Collymore will join us to talk about that in the next few minutes. And there's a lovely picture on our website today. You've got to check this out, of Jose Mourinho walking around Manchester, looking, just fitting in. He's a man of the people.
Get in touch on Instagram or Twitter.
So let's get into one of the big stories of the day. Liverpool, Philippe Coutinho, Jurgen Klopp refusing to allow him to go to Barcelona. And, when are they going to start defending set pieces properly? Let's speak to the former Liverpool striker Stan Collymore and the digital editor of the Mirror website. It is Matty, Lawless. So Stan, first question then is, in the end, does Jurgen Klopp turn around and go, OK, I've got to get rid of him because the money's too good and he actually wants to be elsewhere? Or if they keep saying it enough, will he believe it himself and they'll flex their muscles and keep hold of him?
Quite simply, they should get rid of Philippe Coutinho. If they're going to get 110, 120 million pounds for him, I mean, crikey, how many radio shows and mirror columns have I done in the last couple of years where Philippe Coutinho, a lot of Liverpool fans would have driven into John Lennon Airport for £60 million a year ago. I think that Philip Coutinho would fit in at Barcelona very well. But let's be perfectly honest, Philip Coutinho has 4 or 5 great games a season for Liverpool, maximum. So for £120 million, that's club building money.
Matty, what do you reckon?
I don't want to see him go. I think he's box office. I think he's the type of player we want to see in the Premier League week in, week out. But as Stan says, if Liverpool get this right and they get the scouting system right more than anything, there are players out there who can do the same job. I mean, let's not forget they lost Suarez and Coutinho came in and he filled his boots. So there will be someone out there. For me, that player, and I would go to him all day long, would be Manuel Lanzini. He's a fantastic player for West Ham. He's the type of number 10 that would get Liverpool fans excited once he's there, not before he arrives at the club. They probably think, oh no, he's not quite a Liverpool player, but he is fantastic. And if they get the players in to do that job, it doesn't matter who they are, they just need to do that job.
It's interesting with Liverpool because all this sort of Coutinho talk is a bit of a distraction, really. The fact is they've got a lot more deeper problems in the fact that they can't defend set piece, and they haven't been able to defend a set piece even since Jurgen Klopp has been there. And this is now 2 years that he's been in charge of the club. Shouldn't he have sorted that out by now? And also, when teams stick 10 men behind the ball and sit on the edge of their own penalty area, they haven't got the craft to open them up anyway. So they do need a new dimension. They do need recruitment. And this money could be the recipe for success, couldn't it, Stan?
Yeah, I mean, but like I say, I'd be reluctant to blow. I mean, whether blow is the right word these days, because there is no accurate value on players. In terms of £60 million for Van Dijk, I don't think he's good value. Very good central defender, did very well coming from Celtic, like Victor Wanyama, coming down the road, going to Southampton and making his name. But I'd be very worried if £120 million of Coutinho money was going to be £60 million on Van Dijk, FSG not wanting to necessarily spend the rest, and then you've kind of lost a player that Matty said is mercurial box office without adequately fleshing out the squad. I would go for Riyad Mahrez. This is a guy that was Player of the Year 18 months ago. He's won the title, so he's proven in the league. He wants out. He plays in the kind of position that Coutinho could play. He could easily play as a number 10, and Liverpool have got a number of players that could get on the ball and drift past people. Why have nobody talked about him?
It's worth pointing out that Liverpool are some way off the pace in terms of challenging for the Premier League. They've got to play the Champions League playoffs over the next couple of weeks. They're desperate to get into the group stages, but challenging for the top honours. How far away are they from mounting a serious title challenge, Matty? Well,
they're far away in terms of they need to keep players like Coutinho, but Stan makes a good point. Mahrez, why is nobody speaking about him? Perhaps for me, it's his age. In terms of, is there a sell-on value there? Maybe not. If you're going to pay, I think Leicester are after £50 million for him. What's the sell-on value in that? Probably very little for Mahrez. I wouldn't think you'd recoup that. So that's probably part of the strategy and the thinking behind maybe not going for a player like him.
Let's be honest about it, though. The fact is that Jurgen Klopp has got away without getting too much criticism, not only from former players, not only from fans, but also from journalists as well. Everybody's sort of fallen for this big smile and this very happy-go-lucky personality. But the fact is, we're 2 years into his reign almost, and they can't defend set pieces. They haven't mounted a serious title challenge, and they threw away the opportunity to win a cup competition last year against Southampton, and against Wolves and against Plymouth as well. I mean, Matty, it hasn't been brilliant, has it?
No, not by a long shot. Like you say, that charm and charisma sort of won everybody over. But Klopp's, very much under the microscope this season. If things don't go right for him, and he's got a critical fortnight ahead, he could really be in a firing line. Really could.
Stan?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I looked yesterday and I thought to myself, well, I can't speak for I was presuming Joey was talking about the likes of maybe Jamie Redknapp and Danny Murphy and Didi Hamann. I know Didi Hammann's been, I'm not Didi Hammann's biggest fan of his punditry, but I know he's been critical. And like I say, I looked back at the Mirror columns yesterday and I've had a go at Jurgen Klopp at everything, for the way that he's dealt with Sacco, the way that he's played 4-3-3 with a reckless abandon at times with no natural holder. I think, to be fair, I mean, if you look, there's been plenty of criticism of Jurgen Klopp.
Stan, let's talk about Everton and Wayne Rooney, because you were at the game on Saturday taking in their match against Stoke. I've seen them a couple of times in European qualifying. We've all had our say on him. We've all thought that he was probably past his best, but he looks lean, he looks mean. I've never seen anybody so happy to score a goal. And after the game as well, his interview, it was full of energy. I mean, what has happened, do you think?
I like most people, and I think I got this horribly wrong, because I actually watched him taking up those pockets in the number 10 position that he did for Man United, and he just looked, he got it, and he was spraying balls here and there because he didn't feel that he had the belief to be able to get in the box. And I saw that happen 5 or 6 times at Goodison, because I was watching him really closely. He was working hard, as he always does. There's never ever been a question about his work rate. The question has been, as he's got older, has he got the ability to get in the box? Of course, then he picks up the ball on the halfway line, he nicks it, he gets in the box, he finds the space and scores a goal. So you get the classic sort of commentator's curse, or journalist curse, whatever you want to put it, which we've all had. Great debut, fantastic goal. Fans loved it. Obviously having him back. But I think it's just about managing Wayne Rooney and using him sparingly this season.
Matty, someone's got to break through that glass ceiling of the top 6 at some point. Can it be Everton this season?
I don't think so at the moment. I think that without Rooney, they lack a bit of leadership, and Stan's right, he's not going to play every game. So they still need to do a bit of business, because if Rooney's not on the pitch for them, they still haven't got that kind of focal point in attack, because they lost Lukaku. Danny Welbeck is the target that they're really trying to pursue. Whether Arsenal will sell him or not, I don't think so, because Wenger's got a lot of time for him and he's fit again. And Giroud, Arsenal can't afford to sell him either. So Everton needs to quickly reassess their targets, in my opinion, until they find that kind of marksman who can score 20 goals like Lukaku did. Then they won't be breaking into that top 4.
Okay, quick question before I let you both go, and it's been fantastic to have you both on, about the transfer window. The Premier League clubs are all talking about now deciding to end the transfer window for them before the start of the season. Good idea, bad idea, Stan?
Fantastic idea. You want to make it. Look, we obviously live in a global football village. I was over in the States in pre-season watching games. I've built their craft, so and have marquee players and etc. etc. So you have little nuances in around the world, but I only really care about English football and the credibility of the tournament. The notion that a club can do preparation time of 4 to 6 weeks, in that time do some shopping or the bulk of their shopping, get the targets that they should have been looking at all year, and then lose a game. And I'm not using Chelsea as an example, because I don't think Antonio Conte will make excuses for the defeat against Burnley, and he will have had his targets planned, and it's just whether Chelsea want to buy them or not. But then you can go out after a defeat on match day 1 or match day 2 and blow a hell of a load of money. I think is unfair. So some people would make the counter argument that if Spain didn't close the window till the end of August or early September, that means that Coutinho, Lukaku, Pogba, players like that are ripe for picking by Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, whoever it is a valid point. But I think if with the Premier League money that we have, with a window that stops before the action starts, surely there's enough money, there's enough decent scouting, or should be, and managers like to get their work done, so that when we go into match day 1, we know everything that we've got. Because
we'll have more competitive credibility, and also we'll be able to do our fantasy teams properly without having any worry that some of our players were going to get nicked, Matty?
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, look, Stan's touched upon it. The Spanish and the French club could still nip in and nick the best players, but I think it just gives everyone that kind of, it settles the squad quickly. And also it might give more kind of limelight to young players and give them an opportunity to, we're part of the squad already. We had a young lad called Declan Rice who came on at West Ham for West Ham at Old Trafford, looked really good. So he's part of the squad early on, but because business is still going on, come September he might go out on loan again, so we don't know.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the Mirror Football podcast. We appreciate it. Big style. See you soon. And whatever you do, just remember, stay on your feet. Every week, Big Tom brings his big news. The important thing you must know, but no one else is talking about because it doesn't get you those retweets or those little red heart-like things.
No. Well, this week's big news is the contribution of African players to the Premier League.
Interesting.
In case you missed it, in July it was decided by CAF that the African Cup of Nations will be moved to the summer months from 2019.
Yes.
Slated to be played in Cameroon, it's the first time that Premier League, or many Premier League fans, will be able to fully commit to this tournament that is usually held in the winter months.
And it's a dead year, so I get to give it my full attention and earn extra money.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But for you, it means you can get Panini albums, do sweepstakes.
Absolutely, all of that. Now, in case it escaped your attention, on Saturday, almost a third of the Premier League goals were scored by African players.
Yeah.
You had Salah and Mane at Liverpool starting as they mean to go on. You had the new boys Hegazi at West Brom and Mounier at Huddersfield. So African players have consistently enriched the league for the last 25 years. And this really gives the chance for the Premier League to retain all the talent for the domestic busy winter schedule, and for the fans to be free, to be liberated from the burden of supporting England and really adopt an African country of their own and really get behind a tournament. What about you? You've done the African Cup of Nations before. What do you think of the move? What's it like?
I enjoy it. I like it. I mean, the thing for me is the move to June to July might stop certain countries from being able to host it because of the sort of climactic reasons, the threat of monsoon rain. Apart from that, the idea that you'll have less players pulling out, like Joel Matip, from their European clubs.
I think it was a bit more than that, but yeah, go on.
Neom as well, West Brom, others, just because they don't want to upset the European managers. That obviously does play a part.
Yeah.
And you can see some great talent at the AFCON. For me, it's the first time I saw Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and I was like falling in love with him straight away. It was fantastic. So listen, you can see so much great football all over the world, all over the year, but it does give Africa a chance to sort of get the spotlight that they deserve for that particular tournament. So I'm pleased that they've decided to move it to the summer months in a dead year as well. 2019 I think it starts.
Yep.
Which is great. Okay, do you want to have another go at the mind bender, by the way? Have you got another guess for us? We're looking for the 7 top scoring Premier League free kick takers since 92-93.
I'm thinking back to previous fancy teams that I've picked over the years. I'm going to go with a left field one, Morten Gans Pedersen, Blackburn.
Oh my God, he's actually in there.
Is he?
Yeah.
Cultured left foot.
I
It's a wand.
hate the fact that you got that so early. That's annoying. So you've got Beckham and Gamps Pedersen. You've got 5 more to get.
That's probably where it's going to end. But
No.
I'll keep thinking.
Now, if you believe some of the things that you've read this week, then Diego Costa is being held captive against his will in some West London prison cell. And there's Chelsea have got less players than Donald Trump's got allies. Let's find out what the real story is by speaking to Mirror Sports' Darren Lewis. Hi, Darren, how are you?
Sam, you well?
Yeah, good, thank you. I'm probably better than Chelsea, actually. Last year champions, this season, it all seems to be falling apart at the seams. I mean, is it really as bad as everyone's making out?
Well, it's a bit of both, really, because on the one hand, last September, they looked in a mess. It looked as though they wouldn't finish in the top 4. You may remember, and obviously everyone watching will remember, that Arsenal really took them apart at the Emirates. They lost 3-0, and it looked at that stage as though they wouldn't finish in the top 4, let alone top of the pile. They went on to win the league, basically pulling up. So on that basis, you have to say that all of this must be taken with a pinch of salt. That said, at the moment, you look at the 2 Manchester clubs, they look in rude health. Manchester United looked outstanding on Sunday. Arsenal have done their business. They've got a strong squad. Spurs have got the best balanced side in the Premier League, and they are looking to get more signings. So all of the other clubs in the top 6 look as though they are in good shape, except for Chelsea, who at the moment look as though they have a decent first 11, but they don't have the depth in terms of the wider squad, and they've got the Diego Costa problem hovering over them. That refuses to go away. Conte's handling of it in question. And I just don't understand, and I'm sure lots of neutral fans and Chelsea fans will feel the same, how Chelsea keep finding themselves in this situation. They look as though they're strong. They are undermined from the inside, and then suddenly it's a drama surrounding the club.
I don't understand it either. I mean, because if you have a look at it in sort of the cold light of day, I can't work out how they're going to cope at the weekend against Spurs away from home. They've got no Cesc Fabregas, they've got no Gary Cahill. Pedro might be injured. Yeah, Bakayoko apparently trained earlier this week. But if you take out Pedro and Bakayoko, they could have just 11 fit and available senior outfield players. Forget the kids, forget the academy graduates. 11 fit senior outfield players going into the weekend. That is a balmy situation to get yourself into when you've just become champions and you've piled on a whole new plethora of games in the Champions League upcoming for the season.
Absolutely right, Simon. And here's a big part of the problem is this. For a long way during the second half of last season, it looked as though Chelsea were going to win the league. They were in a situation where they should have been planning ahead, where they should have been looking forward to the summer transfer window, where they should have been in for some of the big players, the likes of Romelu Lukaku, who has wanted to go back to Stamford Bridge for as long as we all can remember. And yet United come in and pinch him. Other clubs do their transfer business before Chelsea do. Chelsea are now in a situation where they're almost hunting players, but are going to be held to ransom by clubs who know that their need is great.
And what about the latest reports this morning? £120 million splurged by Roman Abramovich apparently is going to get Drinkwater, Virgil van Dijk and Oxlade-Chamberlain for his manager. Is there much truth or hope for Chelsea fans in those rumours?
Well, they do want Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's playing left wing back at the moment for Arsenal. He's not a left wing back. He's a central midfielder. Obviously, you can play him in a more advanced position. I don't think he's going to stay at Arsenal. I think he's got 12 months left, and he does want to move on. Does want to play regularly in World Cup. Yeah, and I think he will either go to Chelsea or Liverpool. Van Dijk's a little bit more difficult because Southampton. We're all assuming that they're going to roll over and cave in and give Virgil van Dijk to one of the big clubs. I still think he wants to go to Liverpool, and I think as far as the likes, for example, of Barkley are concerned, I think Barkley wants to go to Spurs, and I think Spurs will get that deal done. So it's not as simple as many people think in terms of Chelsea being able to do business. I do think they will do business.
So will Chelsea just going to end up with Danny Drinkwater and that's going to be it?
No, I think they want a new left back as well, left wing back. Sandro, Juventus, he may well come in for Chelsea. They need a new right back as well. There are any number of options. They've got the boy Cancelo at Valencia, might be one of them. And they need a new striker too.
Well, let's talk about Tottenham because Chelsea play Tottenham at the weekend and they've been a little bit slow in the transfer market as well. Is there any sign of incomings at Wembley, I suppose it is now, instead of White Hart Lane?
Well, Davinson Sanchez, the Ajax defender, we spoke about him a few seconds ago. I think as far as he is concerned, he does want to come. He does want to work with Pochettino. Players see what Pochettino has done for the likes of Alderweireld, of Vertonghen, of Danny Rose, of Kyle Walker, and they want to work with him. He was an accomplished defender in his day, and he's got the best defensive record in the Premier League with Tottenham, had it jointly beforehand with Manchester United. And I think Sanchez would be a monster working with Pochettino. So lots of people talk about his deficiencies at at Ajax, forgive me. When you look at the fact that they finished above Arsenal last season because they were so much more solid defensively, and at the moment they've got the best balanced side, I was saying before, in the Premier League, the most goals, the best defence, in midfield they're solid as well. I think that Spurs, there's less of a problem around their lack of signings as there is at Chelsea.
Okay. Great to speak to you as always, Darren. Thank you very much for coming on the programme. Speak to you again soon. Stay on your feet. Let's have a quick look at our Fantasy Football League. Stay on your feet. If you want to get involved in it, at Stay On Your Feet on Twitter. The pinned tweet is right at the top. How am I getting on? Because I had Lukaku this week, and obviously that got me loads of points because I captained him up. He scored 10 goals against West Ham now. I knew he was going to get me loads of points. How am I getting on?
Yeah, we both captained him. You're above me. I think you're 100th at the moment, and I'm about 116th. This is what's at stake. You can win this trophy. Get involved. It's on our pinned tweet. Our current joint leaders are Mark Stainer and Dan Keat, and from the look of it, one's a United fan and one's an Evertonian, so everyone else in the league, raise your game, we've got to knock them off.
Okay, what sort of team did they have? De Gea in goal, Firmino and Lukaku up front, and Chicharito. That's the same line front three as me. How comes he got more points? So he's got Mo Salah as well, and Danilo. And Ben Davies, who scored at the weekend. What a fantastic goal that was from Tottenham. Every single one of the players you would have in your fantasy team touched it in the build-up, and then Ben Davies finished it off. Fantastic.
Who gets the assist? Who gets that crucial pass, though?
Okay, if you want to take part, you know how to do it. Go on our Twitter page. It's @StayOnYourFeet, and there is a pinned code at the top to get involved in our league, and you could win a nice big trophy at the end of the season. Do you want to have one more go at the mind bender? You've got Beckham, you've got Morton against Pedersen, you've got 5 more.
Here are some
Premier.
results from a search.
We just got interrupted by the Google Assistant.
Can it give me the answer?
I think it was trying to give you the answer.
Okay, I'm gonna. It's jog my memory. I'm gonna go for another one, another blast from the past. Nobby Solano.
Oh, how did you get that?
It is another dream team must. It's
annoying me.
fantasy league history.
I wonder whether or not you've got a Google Assistant down by the side of you somewhere. Anyway, we're looking for the top 7 Premier League free kick scorers of all time. If you haven't got them yet, the answer is coming your way shortly. Now, hashtag United are a football club, which has sent basically YouTube into meltdown. I'm delighted to say that Seb is on the line now. Hi, Seb, how are you?
Very good, thanks, Sam. How you doing?
Yeah, we're really good, thank you. Now, come on, talk me through this. For people who haven't seen your YouTube videos, the team's YouTube videos, Spencer FC, explain to us very quickly how this all started and what this is all about. Because this, I'm not joking when I say this is taking the world by storm. It really is.
Well, we're having a lot of fun with it. I mean, Spencer, my brother, he has a large YouTube channel, makes videos about football. We do a large campaign every year called the Wembley Cup. It's coming up again soon. But that was basically the start of it all. We found out that there were large amounts of people that wanted to watch YouTubers play football and watch football prepared in like a specifically edited way, designed for a younger audience or an online audience. So we started our own team, hashtag United. We entered ourselves into our own little divisional world that mirrors the way the gaming world works, in 5 divisions. And instead of it being about us and all the other teams, it's about us and our journey and having to hit certain milestones and points totals to win rewards for ourselves that are unlocked through sponsors and also progress through the different divisions.
And it's worth pointing out that you're not just a football team, and you are a football team, but you're also, you know, I've seen you play Aston Villa staff, Man City staff, other bits and pieces on your YouTube channel. But you're also a bunch of gamers, aren't you? You're playing in interactive World Cups, etc., which are upcoming.
Yeah, so we also have an esports team to hashtag United, where we have 4 guys that are, some of them do sometimes play for the football team, but they are separate guys. So they're professional FIFA players, if you like. So they play FIFA 17, currently the title, for a living. They fly all around the world to the big events hosted by EA and various other companies. But the one this week, the FIWC, the way that's grown now, our guy, hashtag TAS, he'll be competing for $250,000.
This is amazing, because there'll be parents that are watching this. There'll be mums and dads watching this. There'll be people who spent half their life playing FIFA thinking, what? Yeah. You can earn money playing FIFA? I'm not going to go out my kids anymore.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, and FIFA's just growing as an esport. You know, some of the esports, the World Championships, for example, some of the other games, they're $18 million prize fund, watched by stadiums of 80,000 people over in Asia. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. And we've got this world of content creation in the football world, and obviously how popular a game like FIFA is. We're just at the beginning. Last year, the top prize was 20 grand. You know, it's 10 times that this year.
And Spencer's got a book out, hasn't he, in the next couple of weeks, in order to sort of try and give his side of the journey that he's been on?
Yes, absolutely. So it's called Game Changer. Its pre-orders are available now. Basically, that's telling the story, how he started from an internship in Channel 4, a stand-up comedian, progressed through working for Vincent Company, working for different YouTube channels, to now having his own YouTube channel and flying all around the world, playing against footballers like Vincent Company at national stadiums in front of thousands of people, which is a bizarre story and a journey, but there's a lot of interesting stuff along the way.
But how does he feel now? I mean, when he goes back and looks back at that career that he's made for himself, and you're a big part of this as well. I know you're working behind the scenes with him. How does he sort of reflect on it? Because it's sort of a journey that you would never expect to have sort of happened. Some guy with a I don't know, GoPro or an iPhone taking pictures of himself, which progresses to having a YouTube channel, and all of a sudden, as you say, he's flying all over the world. I mean, it just shows the power of the internet and the power of social media.
Yeah, I mean, he's just super grateful for the position he's in, and, he won't say it himself, but, and I don't like saying it about my brother, but he's a very talented guy. He's had an incredible career. He's worked for television companies, production companies. He understands the skills that are required on both sides of the camera. I think that's held him in good stead. But yeah, he's super appreciative for the following that he has. We all are. And just enjoying it.
Good stuff. Listen, thanks for coming on the programme. We really appreciate it. And whatever you do, stay on your feet.
Thanks, I will. Absolutely. Thanks so much. Great to be on. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. That's Seb from #United. Remember, you can check out Spencer's new book, which is coming out very soon, and the Wembley Cup, which is upcoming in October. It's time for Are You Fit to Wear the Shirt? It's where we get you to fit into your old kits that you used to wear when you were a kid. Last week, Chris, the Portsmouth fan, just about got into an Alan Knight goalkeeping jersey from 1994 or 5 or something like that. What we got today?
We've got another one from the mid-90s. This time we've got Dale Small, a PE teacher and head of a football coaching school from South East London, trying to get into a Newcastle shirt from around 1995. Do you think he'll do it?
Let's have a look.
Hello, my name is Dale Small. Checked out the show last week. Fantastic show. Had to get involved with the Are You Fit to Wear the Shirt challenge. Rummaged through my attic, found this beauty. Newcastle United, 97 to 99. Worn by one of my favourite players of all time, Diego Costa. So, let's see. Are we fit to wear the shirt?
Well, that is a good question, actually. Is he fit to wear the shirt?
PE teacher, you should be fit, shouldn't he?
He looks like he's going to be fit, but Tino Asprilla was an unbelievable athlete. So if it is actually Tino Asprilla's shirt, then it's going to be difficult for him to fit into it. Well, we shall see. I mean, he looks like a svelte guy. Go for it. Let's have a look.
So here we are, nearly 20 years on. Let's see if we fit. I'm through.
Oh, scrunched up approach.
Straight through the head though, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
First arm in, second arm in.
Oh, he's on the home straight.
Get it over the belly. He's done it.
He's done it. Muscle fit. I like that. Well done. Well done, Dale.
That's cracking. Muscle fit.
Yeah.
He's been working out up here, hasn't he?
Yeah, the shoulders, yeah.
He's been doing the old lateral raises and stuff like that. Well done, Dale. Very impressive. If you want to get in touch and show us that you're still fit to wear the shirt, you need to send us 2 videos. The first one showing us the shirt so we can have a little guess to see. We want to gamble to see if you're going to do it or not, and then we want to see you put it on. Just WhatsApp us your videos. The number is on the screen now.
Okay, so what are you doing this week?
I'm off to Celtic, their game in the Champions League playoff. I'm doing Sunderland at the weekend as well. They do Leeds on Saturday night, 5:30, so I'm looking forward to both those games. Do you want the answer to the mind bender, by the way, before we go?
Yeah. What you got?
Okay, so we're looking for the top 7 Premier League free kick takers who have scored goals. So the highest scoring 7 Premier League free kick takers. Beckham, you got 15. Yep. Man United. I said you got Nobby Solano. You didn't. He's just below the line of that 7. Only got 9.
It's 11
and above.
I got it right.
It's 11 and above. You have to get. Gianfranco Zola got 12.
Yeah.
Thierry Henry got 12. You didn't go for Ronaldo, you got 11. I don't know why you didn't mention him.
He's ballooned so many over the bar, that's why.
Sebastian Larsson. Arsene Wenger once told me he was one of the best free kick takers he'd ever seen.
Okay.
11 goals for him. Laurent Robert. Everybody knows his name.
That was Philippe Albert.
Was it?
Yeah, get it right.
Morten Gamst Pedersen, you did get right. And just below the line of 11, Ian Hart, Jamie Redknapp, Frank Lampard and Nobby Solano. Pretty impressive.
How many did you get?
Well, I was setting the question, so you got 2?
All right.
2. If you got 5, you're doing very, very well. So if you did get 5, you can tweet us and tell us about it at Stay On Your Feet on Twitter. You can Instagram us at Stay On Your Feet TV. Right, that's it for today's show. Thanks to all our guests, and thank you very much for taking part as well. We'll be back next Tuesday with another edition of the Mirror Football Podcast. What are you off to do now?
I'm going to go and get my Ghana top. Go Black Eagles.
Okay, and I'm off to rescue that poor soul who's being held against his will by some bad guys in West London. You know Sanchez from Licence to Kill, or the guy
just Google it.
Just Google
it.
I've got to rescue him. Jake, I'm coming.